good CGI. Also, it's cool to see them keeping a fairly unknown character like Rocklock in the public eye. It's something I talked a lot about in seasons 2 to 4, about keeping characters fresh in the viewer's mind, and they continue that tradition in the second movie, even if it's just a little bit. Let's hear it for pretty much the first car chase sequence in the My Hero universe as well. I know the first movie had a brief sequence, but it was really a vehicle versus a guy's quirk, and it looks great with that smooth, expensive looking CGI as well. I mean, check that out. Thinking about it, there was also one in season 4 as well, but you know what I mean. Yet another unique quirkada! Also, for those of you new to the channel, that was a reference to something I do on the channel originating from my JoJo videos, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I love you! I really do! Oh my god, it's Endeavour, and that would get a win on its own! If you haven't seen my 2 videos on season 4, check them out! And he's got that scar from the end of that season 2! A fantastic way of demonstrating the raw power of Darby's quirk, especially considering the fact that it's weaker because it's a copy version of the quirk, seeing it cancel out Endeavour's, since prior to this, it was hard to gauge it against just the likes of the guy with the sand quirk in season 4 and such. A brilliant way of demonstrating the insane power of Endeavour, who is clearly way stronger than Darby likely is, who is himself fairly on the tough side. I mean, that wasn't even close. And who the heck else is loving hearing him do yet another Prominence Habuna-sama! Lots of new characters with lots of new quirkadoos, and a good first look at the main villain, who I must say looks pretty gosh darn awesome. I mean, check him out. This intro done specially for the movie with this great, unique, art-bobbly looking art style. Island-related scenery shot. Getting to see all of our heroes doing hero-related stuff filled with comedic scenes and great tunes as we come to expect from this glorious series. Genuinely gorgeous scenery shot that probably took ages to make. It's only a very small thing, but all the same, having his character choose to drape his cloak over the back of the chair, probably avoiding wrinkles, is something he's extremely likely to do, and a nice touch. Talk about another nice touch actually, having Bakugo not just say no for the sake of it, but instead say no because his quirk wouldn't fit the requirement of the mini-mission is great, as he also reads the island's guidebook, showing that he's not being lazy or difficult in this instance anyway. All my being in anything is always a win. Nice little bit of tasty world building with a side portion of rather filling but still light exposition, letting us know about how heroes operate on remote islands. I'm slightly full, but I can handle some more. He's flying! Get out of here with that! He's so cool! Also though, let's just note the beautiful static scenery of this movie. It's bright, vivid, and overall stunning to my appreciative eyeballs. Also, later on, it naturally takes a turn, instead going much darker with the visuals as the fight goes on in the second half, but still looks amazing. Even though Midoriya was kind of cruelly tricked and admonished, his kind nature in general just really shines through here, and it's a great character element of his that he's still so ever thankful for his quirk and having become a hero that he looks past people's petty actions like this. It also wonderfully feeds into the raw emotion the viewer feels later on when he makes what we and he thinks is the ultimate sacrifice to save others.
わざと事務所に残ってんだよ。お前らが出払ってる時ヴィランが出たらどうすんだよ。宿直よろしく。なん んでだよ。
だってお前今日何もしてねえじゃん。
Bakugo still being Bakugo with extreme prejudice.
1366 1367
Taking the time to let us know that Midoriya is still working incredibly hard to train his body to become fully compatible with One for All one day.
そうして救いを求める声と義勇の心が紡いできた力の結晶。
Oh, hot diggity dog! Getting yet another great look at each of the former holders of One for All. I wonder if there's a specific reason a few of them aren't being fully shown. Using this short scene to remind the viewer or those new to the series as a whole of Midoriya and Bakugo's ongoing feud, but also mutually growing respect and competitiveness.
先週から継続的に発生しているヒーロー暴行事件。信楽一派は指定ヴィラン団体が密造した個性を消す針を入手して。
I always love when movies are canon to the series, since what we have here is a nice addition to the end of Season 4's story about the further production and use of the quirk erasing needles against the world of heroes.
あれに触れてはならない。忘れるんだ。
ドクター。
Okay, so sadly and annoyingly, this did actually get spoiled for me, but I'm dropping a big fat win right here for the reveal of this dude. That was such a nice callback to add into the main story.
だが、個性をもらう。
Now this is interesting. Someone else who can steal quirks, although from all the gear he's wearing, something tells me it's not a quirk. But all the same, colour me deeply intrigued and also hit that like button.
隠れてろ。
I'll be totally honest, at first I was like, wait, it's now canon that there are giant bugs in this anime, and then when I found out it was an illusion I was very relieved, and also it's awesome to see Bakugo using his head so quickly during a fight. That's not something he'd have done prior to UA or even while at UA for a while, so they've nicely demonstrated his character growth in and out of combat so far in this movie.
まほろちゃんはヒーローが嫌いだからじゃなく、勝間くんのことを心配して。
Seeing this scene from the end of Season 2 makes me so impressed by how different Midoriya looks now and then. He's so much thicker now due to all of the training and somehow actually looks older. It's brilliant! Not running on the spot. This movie is full of nice, subtle scenes, like here showing the ice cream melting since Bakugo's full attention was on Midoriya and his conversation about what kind of hero he wants to become. Also, I gotta say, these kids are very cute, especially the young lad. They've managed to animate him like an actual little kid, like in how he moves, and also the voice actor does a great job. It's really well done. I feel like I should dish out some credit for Minotaur. He's been far from the most brave member of their class in Season 1, but I like how he did run towards the danger here. It also shows he's coming along slowly. Another unique quirk of that!
何が目的だ。なぜこんなことを。
It's a genuine pleasure being able to witness him fight and his voice actor show off a bit. Before now, he's been unable to do all that much in the story, only fighting alone at the end of Season 1. On top of showcasing this guy's strength, it's seriously impressive how fluid the animation quality is. I know that's usual for a movie, but I felt like that should also get a shout out. Yeah, that still gets one!
お腹限界。
雑魚に手こずりすぎなんだよ。このモブども。ここは俺らに任せろ。図に乗るな。
That was beautiful, and it's amazing getting to see all of them take on this one foe. I can't recall them ever doing something like this with so many members at one time. Maybe other than the end of the first movie.
なぜあの子たちを狙う。
どけ。
どくわけないだろ。見えない壁。空気の壁か。
Bruh, this is a crazy start to the fight, and he's using quirks pretty familiar, like the older dude Deku fought with at the end of Season 4 with the Walls of Air. Also though, take another win here for having a villain actually not run his mouth too much, revealing everything to his foe. This guy just keeps it short and sweet, and I like that change of pace.
このまま拙者の傀儡となるか仲間に倒されるか
Oh yes, boy, I had a feeling Bakugo would be able to break free, plus he probably hates being in that position, and so got filled with anger after what happened with the slime villain back in Season 1. Now, My Hero Academia isn't normally known too much for its combat. It seldom does larger fights with lots of actions, but when it does do them, it does them great, and that looks fantastic. I love that slow motion slam into the wall with the debris flying off it. That was some serious Endeavor vs. Nomu flame effects right there. Check it out slowed down. All the credit in the world to these amazing animators. Witnessing some more greatness from your boy Todoroki. Also, shout out to my wife who bought a Todoroki figurine alongside a Bakugo one, her favourite characters. Join my Discord and check them out. Oh, and yeah, Todoroki is great, and the effects I swear seem to be by the very same legend who brought us Todoroki vs. Midoriya with those block blasting type effects. It's so good seeing him fight like this, and even though the villain will clearly have the edge, it's got me so hyped, and that music too! Oh god. What?!
奪えないいや空きストックに収まりきらない
Oh dear lord! So there is way more to One for All than we thought, which is something I talked about at the end of my Season 4 video. Check that out if you haven't already. It's almost like it's multiple quirks in one, and it also kind of felt a little like the passed along souls of the history of the quirk and those who held it pushed him away perhaps, but I'd love to know your take on it. And this girl saving Midoriya, man, that was outstanding in how she creatively used her quirk. Okay, also, this might seem slightly over the top, but for me this gets the maximum 2 wins award. That stunning animation of the grass as Bakugo clearly moves at great speed to intercept the villain. Now, I choose to believe part of the reason he did this is to save Midoriya, and that makes me feel genuinely happy, but we'll see. But other than that, it was just beautifully smooth action right there. Yet more great action sequences that need to be shown. I'm honestly blown away by some of them, and yet it still looks equal to the anime itself in many ways. So it's not like we're watching two entirely different but similar looking properties. Bakugo fought an amazing fight, really taking his techniques to the next level ever since Season 1, and vastly improving them all the time. But this foe is something else, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. Those two working together again, it's something I love to see, I really do, but again, this foe is next level. It's like they're fighting all for one, essentially. Bakugo gets a win here. We all know Deku would do exactly this kind of thing, but he is stopping him trying to reach those children, or at least trying to, and that's extremely commendable to the growth of his character over time. Excellent, giving guy who can control animals the time to shine. I honestly cannot recall his name right now, so sorry about that. But yeah, he rarely gets any time in the sun, so it's nice to see the mangaka thinking all the time about how he can utilize his quirk to be a hero in ways that surprise us. Also though, take one for the rescue itself. It was really nicely done and the CGI on the birds was great. Thinking about it, they've also done a good job of considering what these islanders would actually need to survive, rather than being silly and making the whole thing one giant city. Instead, they show us power stations, a large town, smaller villages, and plenty of farmland.
ここで無理しなくていつするんだウェイ。
ウェイウェイしてきたじゃん。
Yeah, don't think too deeply about it. He always gets a win for stuff like this.
テク兄ちゃんたちは僕らを守って怪我したんだ。助けなきゃ。助けるんだ。
This little kid returning the favor and being a big fat champ right here.
ヴィラン連合に加わるだと。
厳密に言うと連合の個性強化実験の検体になる。
Ooh, tasty little reveal right there about what the League has been getting up to after the end of Season 4. I gotta say as well, the spoilers aren't particularly over the top either. There's been 2 so far and it doesn't shatter my world prior to Season 5. So that's nicely done, I think.
君は8つの個性を奪え、9つの個性を使うことができる存在となった。
Ah, that's like his name. And also we get an even bigger reveal in that they are seemingly trying to implant into others All for One's quirk ability somehow, and that it's not been that successful until now. I tell you, Season 5 is going to be amazing. I can just feel it. So many huge factors are now in play. I cannot wait!
先ほど急なメッセージを発信するドローンを想像し、本島へと発信させました。
Now that, I can already tell, is avoiding a plot hole about how to ultimately gain additional help on the island once everything is over, and that's an incredibly clever way of doing it in my books.
じゃあどうすりゃいいんだよ。僕をヴィランに渡して。僕の個性なんかなくなってもいい。それで島のみんなが助かる。
Loving the character growth in this little kid during just the course of this movie, going from a shy and timid boy to becoming inspired by both Midoriya and Bakugo, enough so to be brave enough to be willing to sacrifice himself to help the islanders and the heroes.
僕の個性ヒーロー向きじゃないし。
細胞の活性化、新陳代謝の促進、すごい個性だよ勝間くん。
Ah, get out of here with that, Midoriya, you soppy so-and-so you!
君が怖い思いをすることなんかない。そのために僕たちがいる。
Yup, there's that reference again. That's what we're here for. Very similar to All Might's old one, because I am here. And also on the other end of the spectrum is All for One, similar saying to Tamura just before he was beaten during Season 3.
互いに認め合い高め合うことができれば最高のヒーローになれるんだ。
必ず君たちを守るよ。
ヴィランどもをぶっ潰す。
Lovely subtle little hints there of a half smile on Bakugo's face, like he was thinking along the same lines as Deku right there. Everyone getting on board with a kind of roll call type of moment prior to what will no doubt be a huge smash of a battle. Sorry, but I'm hyped up right now. Don't try and settle me down. Stop touching me!
救援が来るまで持ちこたえれば
みんなを守れる。
絶対に勝つんだよ。
This imagery as the final battle plan is put into action and all of the heroes get ready to face their greatest challenge yet as a new sun rises. I almost lost it there after the
キャストストップツインクリングスーパーノヴァ
Wow. Just wow! I totally didn't know he had trained his quirk up so much to be able to generate that much explosive power output. That's amazing!
私の最後の一撃ですわ。
Along the same lines as the previous win, take one here all day long for improving upon Momo's quirk in such huge ways, since hers did sometimes feel lacking compared to the others too.
テープショットホライゼット
解除。
Okay, so one last time I'm going to compliment another pair of undervalued quirks, although hers is pretty good as we saw against Bakugo during the tournament arc, but it's nice to see him and her working together in such unique and large ways. They've come such a long way, it's hard to believe she was the girl always close to throwing up after using her quirk a couple of times.
アシロ、あとは任せる。ここは俺の世界だ。
Wait a minute. Hold the metaphorical phone? Dark Shadow can use friggin' weapons? How cool is that? How they've done this is so clever, it gets a fat win! Drawing her into the caves where Dark Shadow is at its most powerful and him into the water where Soy is at her best and Todoroki can freeze the water is incredibly intelligent and shows they aren't using team power or the friendship of power or whatever to win, but instead are using strategy against a much more powerful set of foes than they're used to, and I love that an unreasonable amount. They can take a win here for the 3 villains as well. I've checked their My Anime List pages and I can't see anything I know them from really, other than this dude is one of the gym boys from Mob Psycho 100, but they still have done a great job alongside everyone else. Take that win! This part of the huge battle and getting to see heroes fight who normally don't do that much of it, and that music. I love that music, it's one of my favourites. If you guys and gals have been watching my channel for a little while, you should know by now that I adore one-shot sequences, where it appears as though the camera doesn't cut away for a period of time, and this is one such moment. I dig that to unreal levels! Oh my god, they're working together! I like this lady and I have my own reasons and I don't have to explain myself to you. Okay, she's attractive, so sue me. Actually don't, become a patron instead. Times are tough! Also though dude, how sick is it getting to see him fighting like this? We've never got to witness it before, but we knew he'd found a way to cloak himself in his quirk. It's just amazing to me all the time how the mangaka further changes their quirks to make them more powerful. Dark Shadow is freaking losing it, but can he find a way to control it this time? That right there gives me the amazing vibes of the end of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You know the bit, everyone constantly attacking a foe and trying to drain his power. It's very similar actually if you think about it, but in a great way, because after all, this is everything great about it, isn't it?
Dark Shadow.
Bakugo saving Midoriya again! Rotating shot like this is JoJo or something as the tables turn on the heroes and the big wolf actually gets even bigger. Like at this point in time, I haven't a clue how they're going to beat these two, so I cannot wait to see what happens next. Man, I keep on forgetting about this guy's quirks. He's got too many, they're all over the place. Imagine if he actually stored up all 8 plus his own, he'd be insanely powerful. Things are about to get heated up even more so, but before that, I gotta say great CGI on that quirk of his. Sometimes anime do terrible CGI, but in general, my hero does it great.
間もなくレシプロが終わる。突破口を開いてくれ。これが最後のアタックだ。
Also right here, I love this comment, because I fully recall that against Stain, he could use it just a single time, but during Season 3 he did all of that training, and since then he's now been able to use it multiple times. I guess I just really appreciate these kinds of details not being forgotten about. Yet another fantastic continuous shot. That kind of reminded me of the greatness from the huge fight near the final boss at the end of Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, which I've covered by the way. Talk about not forgetting details, how about that right there, as he became the hero he dreams of being, the hero who will be a shield and protect others, just like he did with Fat Gum. Everyone giving him the opportunity to use his special attack, one brought on by the advice of his father, and it's so good! That was so good! Emergency plot twist! Everyone at home, get down!
ハートビートアップ
Even though it didn't last long at all, take a win for this movie showcasing us different heroes from the class working together. We've never seen these two pair up, and it's awesome getting to see how they mix and match their quirks together. Everyone in the class giving absolutely everything that they have in order to save these two kids is heart-wrenching as each of them ultimately fails. Okay, so double win right here, but split up. So firstly, they can take one from Midoriya, arriving just in time for a legit epic smash. Secondly, anyone else getting serious flashback vibes from the time Midoriya ran out just like this to try and save Bakugo from the slime villain in Season 1? It's like that moment where you forget about your own safety and your body just reacts. I feel like that was what was meant to be portrayed here, and I love it.
どうやって私の稲妻をあれは前に受けた使い物になんねえアホ嫌い死にしたことじゃね
Oh heck yes, all day long. Take another win here for the best attack in the movie so far in terms of animation quality. I mean, that was good! Also, I feel like this movie really needed this added element, that being Bakugo and Midoriya finally finding a way to fully work together. This movie has had everything so far for them. It's been amazing seeing them work through some stuff, save one another and fight together. It's glorious, and I hope to see more of it in Season 5.
この程度で終わってなるものか
Well, now it wouldn't be a My Hero Academia movie if there wasn't an extra last minute super boss for our heroes to have to deal with. Seriously though, I've got to go back and rewatch the first movie at some point. That final boss fight with All Might and Midoriya was something else. Oh, also, I've covered that too, in case you're curious after this. Epic effects are absolutely mind-blowingly epic. 2 amazing attacks, and I get super giddy whenever he uses 100% because in my mind it's basically All Might there firing off a shot. I guess the only difference is that All Might could smash off 100% every single time he punched, which is beyond insane if you think about it. Oh no, his arm got super battered and bruised again. I wonder if they'll perhaps touch on that because he was told to not ever let it get like that again. Oh man! Ah, that's so good. That just really reminds me of Bakugo and Midoriya doing basically the same thing towards the TV screen while All Might fought all for one in what looked to be a losing battle for him, and now these 2 young kids are rallying them as well. I love callbacks like that. It's the best.
方法が一つだけたった一つだけある
私の個性は聖火のごとく引き継がれてきたものなの力を譲渡する個性
Wait, what? Is he seriously thinking of transferring his quirk to Bakugo right now? I can't even believe this, but it certainly counts as a great moment in the anime, so let's go ahead and include it.
こんなことしててめえは使えんのかよ
オールマイトは譲渡した後も残り火で僕らを守ってくれたこ
れで勝つ
This was one of those scenes where I just sat there with my mouth wide open, utterly in shock, and so chock full of questions, like will Bakugo give it back? I'm positive he will, but how will that go down? Will the transfer have any effect on the quirk itself, since it's never before been passed one way and then passed back? I have even more questions than that, but for coming up with this idea, I have to give 2 wins. I have no other choice as we go into the final stage of this outstanding battle. Who the heck would have ever thought for a second Bakugo would end up with the quirk, even perhaps briefly?
いいんだこれしかない
Oh, they look so cool. It's like a minor Super Saiyan thing going on.
ヒーローさん
勝つんだよ助けるんだ
Man, they got me all emotional right here. It really feels like Midoriya is giving it away, but I certainly cannot believe that that would be the case. But it feels like it, and so it's very emotional, I suppose. Oh man, take 2 wins yet again. That's 3 times in total, but it deserves it. It would be terrible not to give the maximum on each of these occasions. That beautiful music playing, that brilliant animation, that attack, and all of the pure quality in each moment of it. Just shut up and take my wins. What a perfect 1 minute and 40 second segment of time that is in this movie. In case you feel robbed of the moment, just know that the incredible music continued to play throughout the scene. There was no other sound, but it's amazing all the same. I really didn't think that I'd be adding yet another 2 wins, but how could I not for this? I know there'll be people out there demanding 1 billion wins, but just know that in order to keep a fair tally of all of the anime I cover, I have this rule so things can actually be compared fairly, and many of you already know that. I can't say much more about the animation other than that the guy who did Todoroki vs Midoriya clearly did many parts of this scene. It was beyond stunning, it was plus ultra, and now onto their final attack.
Sayonara. One for all. Arigato.
It's got me seriously all emotional hearing him talk like All Might did. They're certainly leading me down a road where I'm truly believing that he's actually passed along his quirk for good, but that just can't be the case. I mean, right at the start of Season 1 or Season 2 in the intro, he says, "This is the story of how I became the world's greatest hero," or something similar. How can this be the end? It can't, but it feels like it, and then getting me to feel stuff equals a win, man.
よかった。母ちゃんにすごく無理をさせたから。
爆豪少年に
Frickin' finally we get some more All Might in the story, and now he has to tell him what happened, and I'll shut up so I can find out what happens. Whew.
そうとしたんです。ワン・フォー・オールを母ちゃんに。ヴィランを倒せなかった。だから後悔してません。でも僕はどうしてもみんなを守りたくて。ごめんなさい。オールマイト。ごめんなさい。
私は君にワン・フォー・オールを渡したことみじんも後悔していない。譲渡が完了する前に爆豪少年が気絶したから。
I feel so stupid, man. I'm like perfectly normal. It's 11 p.m. and I'm reading intensely, and then All Might starts to see One for All spread throughout Deku and explains it. I start crying out of nowhere. I guess so incredibly glad that he's still got it.
命を懸けて守ろうとした者、命を懸けて勝とうとした者にワン・フォー・オールが奇跡を与えてくれたのだ。お師匠、歴代の皆様。
That was like a stupidly beautiful and touching moment right there. It's like the quirk can choose to a certain degree as well. Maybe that would protect it from being transferred to someone with an evil soul or something as well. Maybe they will delve more into that in the future too, but for now I'm just so happy. I love this movie. That music and then the heroes arriving, and they were prepared to fight whatever came through that passageway, bless their hearts, and it's such a great ending, and their teacher is there too. This. Now this raises a question. What quirk is being used to transport him? It's clearly not the warp guy, obviously, as right now he's in custody, I believe, and this transport quirk looks more similar to the one used by All for One. Intriguing to say the least.
お疲れ様。
Can't show it, but he turns him into dust, and it further revolves the question. What was the ultimate purpose of this little experiment? Just to see how he'd perform with those new quirks, or perhaps something else?
マホロ、立馬。
Oh, I'm glad the dad is alright and back with his kids. That's a good added part to the ending, to be honest.
僕強くなるね。お父さんとお姉ちゃんを守れるくらい強くなるから。
Oh, that's legit got me going again, not even gonna attempt to lie, man. such a sweet ending, and those who watched the end of my video covering season 2 will know that that music hits me hard, man. I love that song. It's so emotional and inspirational, and every time I hear it, I see All Might smiling and handing a tired Midoriya a bottle of water. I guess it's just been a real experience for me watching this. I truly enjoyed it so much. Another callback right at the end of this amazing movie. Come off it, man, get out of here! Well, there we have it, ladies and gents, yet another My Hero Academia movie, both sinned and winned. Be sure to check out the other version if you're after some laughs, and remember, it's all for comedy, with some light actual sins peppered in, of course. The link to that is in the description. If you loved my video, please be sure to drop a like and a comment, let me know what you thought of the video, or the movie maybe, or whatever else is on your mind. You can also, as always, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord to chat with me and other fans of the channels, and if you're really appreciative and want to support the work I do entirely alone, you can, of course, visit my Patreon and consider pledging in return for numerous awesome rewards like exclusive Sins and Wins videos. Link below. Thanks so much for watching. I loved this movie so much. It's a clear 10 out of 10 for me, and I cannot wait for season 5 to drop now. And of course, you know I'll be all over that when it drops in the future. Thanks again, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Nathan Burr, Bird Without a Word, Arias Aligari, Ethan White, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Israel Caldera, Chris Harris, Yona Shgal, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Luis Hernandez, Joe W, Yuki Ali, Manuel Morales, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Sentimento, Jeffa 6263, Silva, Master Tank, Boogie, Aurora, Kevin Nauta, Stefio, Brendan Kriya, Storm 970, Spirit Spinner, Mr. Waffle 64, Theodore Quackins, Kaj Borzelman, Jordan Samuels, Hamye, Crimson Shadows, Fourier, Kyle Farmer, Buzzbomb 3000, Mr. Perugino, Console Peasant 12, Adorable, Yagai 7636.